Weeks after a deadly incident at sea, another boat full of people found off the shores of Point Loma. Why authorities say this morning's safe encounter could have ended differently. Confusion across the U.S. over the updated mask guidelines. What exactly those guidelines suggest and how different regions, including California, are taking different approaches. And hundreds of acres and counting burned to our north. Now a suspect in custody. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Good morning, I'm Jim Patton. More than a dozen people are in Border Patrol custody today after the panga boat that they were in was spotted near Point Loma. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell has more on the rescue, which came just weeks after a deadly incident nearby.
It was here at Lifeguard headquarters where more than a dozen people were taken into custody after the panga boat that they were in was spotted in Point Loma. Our 10 News breaking news tracker was there as lifeguards tried to tether their boat to the panga boat. You see people in the boat with their hands up. Border Patrol officials say they took 23 people into custody, 20 men and 3 women. This started just before 3 Monday morning when the boat was spotted by a video surveillance system. The U.S. Coast Guard tried to get it to stop, but the boat's operator ignored their commands. As the boat got closer to shore, it became stuck in the surf, raising concerns about it capsizing. Agents requested help from a number of agencies to help get the people off the boat so the Coast Guard could pull the panga from the surf line. In small groups, the people were taken by lifeguard boats to a nearby dock, where they were met by Border Patrol agents. This comes just about 2 weeks after this dramatic scene near the Cabrillo National Monument, where a boat with more than 30 people on board crashed and capsized, sending people into the water. 3 people died. The boat was being used to smuggle people in the U.S. Border Patrol officials say this boat likely came from Mexico, adding the passengers were all illegally present in the U.S., and agents are unsure of their nationalities. At this point, there are no reported injuries. Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Well, happening now, state health officials giving an update on the COVID-19 response across California. The Health and Human Services Agency holding a phone call right now. One thing that we're waiting for is any potential updates on the mask mandate in light of that CDC guidance. California weighing the recommendation and whether that would change plans to lift the mandate in a month. We're listening to that call now, and we will bring you any updates. Well, those considerations in California coming amid some confusion here and across the country about the latest CDC guidance on masks. CDC's recommendation meant for people who've been vaccinated. But as we see in California, different state and local governments taking different approaches. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Store to store, state to state, confusion for many Americans.
Okay, should I take my mask off? Should I leave it on? It's super confusing.
The CDC issuing new guidance last week saying fully vaccinated people don't need to wear masks in most cases. From the Las Vegas Strip to the ballpark and the French Quarter in New Orleans, many rejoicing over the weekend. But businesses, employers, states, and cities can still make their own rules. Trader Joe's lifted its mask order and Starbucks has made them optional, but 22 states still have some sort of mask mandate in place, meaning in those areas you'd still have to wear face coverings regardless of retailer policies.
If they're vaccinated, they are safe. If they are not vaccinated, they are not safe. This is not permission for widespread removal of masks.
So far, the CDC says more than 123 million Americans are vaccinated, about 37% of the population. But the largest nurses union in the country is condemning the decision, saying it puts those who are immunocompromised, children and frontline workers at risk.
Those that have gone to work every single day during this pandemic, they depend on every layer of protection.
Some experts agree it's too soon.
There are a lot of people that are not yet fully vaccinated that are still in the process, and I think we should wear masks for them.
Is it time?
No, for me, not enough people are vaccinated for me to really feel safe, because how do you know if somebody's vaccinated or not when they're not wearing their mask?
The CDC is expected to update its mask and social distancing guidelines for the upcoming school year in the next few weeks. Officials are hoping to have students back to in-person learning full-time come fall. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Today is tax day. It was extended to May 17th due to the pandemic. The agency announced today that child tax credits will be coming to qualifying families very soon. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie has the details on who qualifies and how much families might get.
The IRS said today that the first of 7 advanced child tax credits will be coming in July. Eligible households, roughly 39 million of them according to the agency, should expect to receive the payments on the 15th of each month through the end of the year, with the second half of the payment coming in April of 2022. So how much are we talking? It's up to $3,600 per child. It increases the benefit to $3,000 from $2,000 for kids up to age 17 and adds a $600 bonus for children under age 6. You can also get money for older kids, although it's not nearly as much. As to who qualifies, in short, as long as your adjusted gross income is $75,000 or less, single taxpayer parents qualify for the full amount. Heads of a household with adjusted gross incomes of $112,500 or less qualify for the full amount, and married couples filing jointly with adjusted gross incomes of less than $150,000 also qualify for the full amount. If you're making more than these amounts, the credit phases out over these thresholds. It's a key piece of the nearly $2 trillion pandemic relief plan that the House passed over the weekend. The Senate's considering this week. Advocates say the bill would cut child poverty in half, but this larger credit is scheduled to last only through this year. There's already a push by Democrats to make it permanent, with backers of the plan warning what could happen if it's allowed to expire. The IRS still needs to clarify how the money will arrive for most families, by direct deposit, for instance, or through issued checks or debit cards. Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
In San Diego, the Rock Church now dealing with a coronavirus outbreak. Church officials say 15 employees across their 5 locations have tested positive for COVID-19. Church says those employees were not vaccinated. First employees received positive tests earlier this week after working at last week's services. And those who may have been exposed are now self-quarantining. Out of an abundance of caution, the Rock Church's services were limited to their Point Loma and microsite locations Sunday, May 16th. And they will carry that on to Sunday, May 23rd. If anyone is worried about being exposed at a service, they should reach out to the church.
But most likely, unless they were backstage in a staff meeting, they have nothing to worry about.
Church says no one has been hospitalized, and the positive cases have been both asymptomatic and symptomatic. Meanwhile, here's a look at the latest figures across the county. Just over 100 cases reported in the last round of daily testing, a 1% positivity rate. Meanwhile, 1.3 million San Diegans are fully vaccinated. Another 450,000 have gotten at least 1 dose. Supreme Court has agreed to take up a major abortion case in its next term. It's a controversial 2018 Mississippi law that banned most abortions after 15 weeks. The law makes exceptions for medical emergencies or cases in which there is a severe fetal abnormality. A federal judge struck down the law, and an appeals court upheld the judge's ruling. Well, this case could present a direct challenge to Roe versus Wade, the 1973 landmark Supreme Court decision legalizing abortion nationwide. Chance to weigh in on the city budget tonight. The San Diego City Council will meet virtually and listen to public input. Budget includes a proposal to close city libraries on Sundays and Mondays to save money. It has been criticized and appears that Mayor Gloria may have changed his mind about it, but negotiations have been ongoing. It also calls for a $19 million increase to the police department's budget, which is controversial for some. The council has until June to pass a budget. Tonight's meeting begins at 6 p.m. and you can watch it on the city's website. An update now to that fire burning near Pacific Palisades. A person has been arrested suspected of starting that fire. Authorities still haven't identified the suspect. Meanwhile, fire has burned more than 1,300 acres in Topanga Canyon near Malibu. It's forced hundreds of people to evacuate their homes, though no reports of damage. Hundreds of firefighters are fighting that blaze, still listed as 0% contained.